There is a book read by millions, studied in silence, applied in shadows. A book that teaches influence, control, strategy, and the subtle art of bending people without them realizing it. But what if I told you that beneath every one of those laws, there is something else, something deeper, something darker, and something most people never question? Today, you are not just going to understand how these laws work, you are going to see through them, and more importantly, you are going to discover something the original teachings never revealed: the antidote, a form of power so complete that manipulation simply stops working on you, not because you resist it, but because it no longer reaches you. Because here is the truth. Most people who study power are not actually learning power. They are learning strategies born from fear. Let's begin. The first law says, never outshine the master. Make those above you feel superior. Hide your brilliance. Dim your light to survive. At the surface, this looks strategic, but underneath, there is insecurity. A belief that power is limited, that if you shine, someone else must fade. But real power does not require you to disappear. So the deeper truth becomes, never dim your authenticity to be accepted. Because the moment you hide who you are, you don't gain safety. You lose yourself. The second law teaches, trust no one too much. Use even your enemies. It turns relationships into transactions, people into tools, and beneath that, there is distrust, a worldview where love is naive and connection is dangerous. But a life built on suspicion is a life without real connection. So the deeper truth is, see people for what they reveal, not just what they say. Trust, not blindly, but consciously, without illusion, without cynicism, because true power does not close the heart, it refines perception. The third law says, conceal your intentions, create confusion, manipulate perception, control the narrative. And yes, there is wisdom in silence, but manipulation is not the same as mastery. So the deeper truth becomes, move in silence and let your results speak, not to deceive, but to protect your energy, your focus, your direction. Because when you announce everything, you dilute your power. The fourth law, say less than necessary. And here, there is truth, because most people speak to fill emptiness, to justify, to be seen. But silence used as a weapon is still manipulation. So the deeper truth is, speak to illuminate, not to dominate. When your words are few and real, they carry weight. The fifth law says, guard your reputation at all costs, protect your image, control how you are perceived. But here lies a trap, because if your identity depends on perception, you become a prisoner of opinions. So the deeper truth becomes, build a character so solid, your reputation becomes a reflection, not a performance, because what is real does not need constant defense. The sixth law, court attention at all costs, be seen, be loud, be unforgettable. But beneath this, there is emptiness, a need to exist through the eyes of others. So the deeper truth becomes, do not chase attention, radiate presence, because presence does not demand to be seen, it is felt. The seventh law teaches, let others do the work, take the credit, use people, exploit effort, climb at any cost. But this creates something fragile, a structure without loyalty, without trust. So the deeper truth becomes, elevate those around you, and you rise with them. Because real leaders do not extract value, they multiply it. The eighth law, make others come to you, attract strategically, manipulate desire, create need. But anything built on illusion eventually collapses. So the deeper truth becomes so aligned with who you are that what is meant for you finds you, not through tricks, but through clarity of identity. Now pause for a moment, because all of these laws have something in common. They are not born from strength. They are born from wounds, fear, scarcity, insecurity, control, the need to dominate, because internally there is instability. And this is the part most people never see. When someone tries to manipulate you, you are not facing power. You are facing fear, disguised as strategy. The 9th law says, win through actions, not arguments. And here, truth speaks clearly, because no matter how strong your logic is, if you humiliate someone, you lose. So the deeper truth becomes, let your life be the proof, because real authority does not argue, it demonstrates. And the 10th law, avoid the unhappy and unlucky, because emotions are contagious. And yes, this is real. Your environment shapes you, but there is a missing piece, compassion. So the deeper truth becomes, protect your energy without closing your heart, because strength is not about isolation. It is about balance. Now, we go deeper, because beyond the laws, there are forces driving them. 5 shadows that shape human behavior. The first is fear, the fear of being insignificant, of not being enough. So control becomes a shield. The second is scarcity, the belief that there is not enough. So life becomes competition. The third is narcissism, not confidence, but emptiness seeking validation. The fourth is paranoia, the belief that no one is trustworthy, so connection becomes impossible. And the fifth is control, the illusion that if you control everything, you will finally feel safe. But control never brings peace. It only creates the need for more control. And now, everything becomes clear, because when you see these shadows, you stop reacting, you start understanding. And that is where real power begins. Not power over others, but power over perception, over reaction, over self. Because the moment you can see manipulation without being pulled into it, you become untouchable. So here's the real question. Not about the world, not about others, but about you. Which of these shadows lives within you? Fear, scarcity, the need for validation, distrust, control? There is no right answer, only an honest one. And honesty is where transformation begins, because naming what is hidden is the first act of power. And once you see it, you can no longer be controlled by it. And now, one final truth. The most powerful individuals in history did not dominate through fear. They did not manipulate. They did not hide behind strategy. They became something else, so aligned, so grounded, so complete within themselves that the world naturally moved around them. That is the power no system can teach, no technique can replicate, because it is not learned, it is realized. So I leave you with this. If you removed every strategy, every mask, every need to control, who would you be?